So it seems like the House of Cards is finally crumbling in on top of our Prime Minister, Kier Starmer. As recording this, it's the morning of the 11th of May, and it seems like by the time this video gets a few hours old, Kier Starmer could already have a leadership challenge on his hands. Of course, Labour completely wiped out in these local elections, nearly 1,500 seats lost. They lost the Senedd in Wales for the first time ever. And Kier Starmer stood defiant, saying, I'm not resigning, I'm going to get through, I'm going to deliver what the people want faster. What he's delivered so far, I don't want it to come any faster. And then he had a strange move of bringing in Gordon Brown as to help the financial situation of the country. A man that kind of divides opinion of how actually good he is at sorting out finances, with a few missteps when he was in charge, and then a strange decision to then bring in Harriet Harman as the Minister for Girls and Women, and she actually thinks that trans women are actually women, even though the Supreme Court says they're not, and she thinks that in the right place they should be allowed to share toilets. But anyway, it finally seems though as the chickens have come to roost, because MPs are now outwardly and in public starting to call for Kier Starmer to resign. This is the first time we've seen multiple people en masse. There's roughly currently about 40 MPs that want Kier Starmer to leave and have made their intentions that they want him out of leadership of the Labour Party. By the time this video comes out, it could be more. In a few hours' time, it could be the required amount to trigger a leadership challenge, which is 81. And it seems like it's not just backbenchers this time. There's actually people close to Kier Starmer have come out and publicly criticised him, which we've never seen before. And it does, for all likelihood, seem like his card might be marked. When it comes to Kier Starmer, though, nothing would surprise me, because this man, as Prime Minister, is stickier than caramel. There's been so many issues, so many scandals that have come out, and he's kind of just breezed past them. He's managed to whip everyone in line, and no one has really ever come out with any sort of authority and spoken against him. Also, we've seen him more than willing to throw anyone under the bus if it means his job is safe. He doesn't care how close he's been to you, how much you've helped him in the past. He is willing to chuck you under the wheels if it means he keeps himself safe. And that is not even to mention the fact that, if you remember, he tried to cancel hundreds of local elections to avoid the results that he's just had last week, to keep the pressure off himself. And it was only in fairness to Reform and Nigel Farage taking him to court which made them actually force them to have these elections. And now we've seen the results of what the people want. Let's get it right. This is a mandate for change. But I don't think this is a mandate for a change of the leadership of Labour, although that would be nice. To me, the quite clear absolute wipeout of Labour, the government that are in power, suggests to me that I think a general election should be called. Now, of course, I know they won't. They'll get rid of Starmer and they'll say, we'll make changes, we'll give you what we want, and they won't deliver it. And then we'll end up 3 years down the line and the country's going to be way worse off than it is right now. And they'll do whatever they can to keep on to power, because fundamentally they do not care about the country. They just care about their little jobs. But sticking on Kier Starmer, it does seem that finally we are going to see a leadership challenge. And if we do get one, the guy's got no chance. Seems like he's got no allies anymore. The public have never warmed to him, and everything he'd done, from the calling the Southport outrage far-right thuggery, to Soviet Russia style knocks at the door in the night because you've written a tweet that the government doesn't agree with, to the scandal of Mandelson and everything in between. The man simply has nothing to offer, and now we'll see people around him coming out and vying for the leadership of the party. Talk online today of Wes Streeting launching a leadership bid. No surprises there. Wes Streeting has his own issues with connections to Mandelson, so would that be a good idea for them? Angela Rayner, of course, is someone whose name has constantly floated around. I think she would be terrible at the job. She has her tax issues and plenty of baggage surrounding her. It's also reported that she herself is wanting to see Andy Burnham given a chance. Of course, Burnham would have to resign and then get a seat in a constituency, which now, given the wipeout of Labour, wouldn't be straightforward as they would have thought before. And I think, although Burnham seems popular with the backbenchers in Labour and the left side of the political spectrum, I think it would be a further disaster for the UK. He might actually get more done than Kier Starmer, but I think he'll genuinely be more against what the actual people want, and it'll just be more communist-style politics and more mass immigration. So all we can do really is wait and see. Things will move very quickly over this next week. Apparently Starmer is meant to be doing a speech today. It was initially planned to be a address to the public to show that they've listened and they're going to change direction and maybe come up with some plans, or just, throw some red meat to the crowd as saying, oh, we've listened to what you're saying and we're going to change direction and we're going to give you some policies that prove that we're listening to you and improve the standard of living in the UK, which ultimately will all be hollow. But now there could seriously be a chance that this is either him coming out and saying he's going to step down, or they're going to put some sort of succession plan in place, or he's going to have to constantly field questions about people making leadership challenges. And I think if he doesn't come out with a resignation or a succession plan for someone else taking over the premiership of the UK, I think within a few hours after that we'll see some leadership challenges triggered, and then the chaos will erupt. Let's see what happens, and I will catch you on the next one.